Who is Hayato Kanzaki, you ask? The answer? Intergalactic Ryu. Boom. End of video. It's over. We solved the mystery. And no, just kidding. Of course, there's more to this character than just being the Ryu of another franchise. This character is actually pretty interesting. Let's get into it. Hayato Kanzaki, the main protagonist of Star Gladiator, the not so hit from Capcom during the 90s. As I've mentioned in an earlier video, Star Gladiator was Capcom's first attempt at making a 3D fighting game. Being known for the popular 2D fighting game Street Fighter, Capcom felt the need to keep up with the ever-changing landscape in the fighting game arena and the game market as a whole. So, Star Gladiator was born. Let the 3D Battle Royale commence. Star Gladiator, or Plasma Sword as it's called in Japan, which I kind of prefer, was a cross between Star Wars and Street Fighter. And sadly, it didn't perform that well. Aside from its poor showing, I thought the game had a lot of cool and decent ideas and designs. Something I really liked were the characters. Big surprise if you saw some of my other videos, then you would know that I love character development in individual stories. A lot of times I feel like the characters make the game and kind of sell the game. The character that's in question today is none other than Hayato Kanzaki. Birth date 2327. And remember, this series takes place way into the future. Now, Hayato is about average height and weight, and sadly, nothing much is known of his personal interests. So, nothing for his likes, dislikes, or even his blood type, which is very huge in Japan. Abandoned by his parents as a young child, Hayato was the leader of a group of orphans in the streets of Neo Tokyo. Hayato led these group of orphans in the streets to steal and scheme and do whatever to do to survive in the harsh conditions. One day, when the kids were causing their usual ruckus, going around stealing things, they ended up being chased by a police officer. This officer was then suddenly shot in the foot. Though they could have left the officer, Hayato refused to abandon him. And then out of nowhere, boom, the officer was killed by another gunshot. Hayato was then arrested for the blame and was sent to a re-education program to rehabilitate criminals by trying to forcibly instill a good personality by mental brainwashing. Doesn't sound very fun. This was actively condemned by human rights groups before the judgment of court. His case was then interrupted by a female owner of a local orphanage and deemed that the case be put into the affairs of child services. Soon, Hayato and the group were given a new home. Hayato, though, in this new home, decided to take up his old bad habits of stealing again for thrills. He was caught by the police, but while awaiting punishment, he overheard his caretaker crying over what he had done. Feeling ashamed, Hayato realized that his old life and way of doing things was done, especially now that he had someone who actually cared for him. Time passed, and the caretaker raised Hayato as well as the other disadvantaged children. But in doing so, she fell deeply into debt, something we all can relate to. When Hayato turned 19, he decided to stay behind and continue to help the orphanage as the next director. While working, Hayato eventually learned the truth of what the caretaker had to go through and the money issues she developed. Hayato, wanting to help the caretaker and erase her debt, decided to go look for work. Again, something we've all done. Unable to find anything, Hayato reluctantly decided to become a bounty hunter. He didn't want this, as being a bounty hunter meant you dealt with the underworld, and it reminded Hayato of his previous life that he had given up. All the shady deals and the shady moves he was making. But it was quick money though. So Hayato left a note for his caretaker and started his new life as a bounty hunter. He was a successful bounty hunter and made some decent money for a while, but he still needed more, and he needed it quickly. One day, while getting his rewards from the local authorities, he discovers an ad for the Star Gladiator project. I know, pretty silly, but you gotta remember, it was the 90s, simple logic, and it's a fighting game. You don't need a whole lot of reasoning to make these big tournaments. He realizes that this is his chance to help the orphanage with the amount of money being offered and joins the project. Hayato would meet his future friends like June, who in fact is also his future girlfriend slash wife, and Saturn, and they would join the fight against Bilstein using their plasma power. All in all, a pretty decent character and with a decent backstory. As I stated before, Hayato is basically the Ryu of the series, not just in a sort of similar appearance, but also in his moveset, as he's a very balanced and good entry character. Due to the nature and cosmetics of his sword, Hayato may have been inspired by the Jedi of Star Wars fame. How he's a bounty hunter also matches the career of main supporting character Han Solo, while his aspects of Jedi-like qualities bear resemblance to main protagonist Luke Skywalker. So just think, take Han Solo, Luke Skywalker, a little bit of Ryu, bam, have a three-way baby, you got Hayato. And the fact that Star Gladiator was originally supposed to be a Star Wars game also supports this. It was also rumored and mentioned at one point that he was a descendant of Ryu, which would mean that Ryu at some point along his journey definitely got busy. But I haven't seen anything detailing that, so it could be a silly rumor that someone decided to spread. All in all, Star Gladiator was a decent game, but the characters were pretty cool and had a little bit of variety, especially when compared to Street Fighter. Once again, Capcom, please, 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 bring back some of these old games, these old series. We need more fighters instead of just Street Fighter all the time. Now don't get me wrong, I love Street Fighter, and I will take a lot of it. But we also want some variety, you know? Star Gladiator, yeah, it was rough. It had its problems. But it was still kind of cool. At least I thought it was. Anyways, that pretty much wraps this video up, guys. If you like, please share, like, thumbs up, comment, subscribe, let me know. If you want to see more videos like this in the future, more little brief backstories of the characters. I don't want to give a whole big, 20-minute video since there are a lot of people are doing that on YouTube. I want to keep these pretty quick and simple so you can kind of get in and get out. So again, if you want to see more of these videos, please let me know in the comments. And also let me know who your favorite Star Gladiator characters are, who your favorite Capcom characters are, and just let me know what you want to see in general. As I always say, guys, please take care, take it easy.